Okay, here we go. Good evening, everybody. I have the legend himself. This is my first doctor ever, by the way. So thanks for being my first on the show. Certainly not the first doctor I've been to, or I would not have lived this long. That's for sure. So what I want to try and do is feed you into the show, which I think could be like this. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think you might be in. So now all I need to just hear is people. Okay, I just want to see. I got a dear little crew who are going to tell me if they can hear you or not. So give us a little mic check. Testing. Let's get the comments up. Thank you for your patience. I'm actually going to put on your landing page right now so people can see your website. All good on Facebook, they're saying, but is your voice good? Thanks for your patience, bro. This is brand new territory. This is very rad. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, Kev. Okay, hold on. I'm looking for a few more thumbs up. Wait. Let's get the comment section up. There we go. We got Mfundo. Let's see if the comment section. Can you hear me and Dr. loud and clear? If not, I can get his voice on through the show. Through here. Let's see if this does anything. Okay, but first of all, let's see if we can get some thumbs up. Because that'll be rad. Need to increase his sound. Okay, let's try. First of all, testing. Your sound is too low. Okay, wait. Mark page. That's the beautiful thing about Wednesday night podcasts is we really don't care, especially after what we've been through, which is what we're about to talk about. So give me 1 more second to give it a go. This is supposed to feed straight through to you, and I want to keep it on like that. So okay, I've got the answer right now. This is wonderful. I'm gonna put your broadcast mic onto you. Check out this. So here you are as a live interviewee, except through an Instagram mic. Jeez, like this could work, bro. I'm telling you, it's gonna work. Okay, do another 1 2 1 2.
Are we good? Testing.
Okay, 1 2. Come on.
Testing.
Guys, that's going to work. I'm telling you right now. Let me get back to the two of us. Okay, one more testing.
Testing.
Thanks for being such a legend, bro. I appreciate it, bro.
Amazing, amazing. Hopefully we can get it right.
I think we will. I've got this mic right on the speakers. I think it's good. And let's get back to the two of us. Unfortunately, your face is cut off. We definitely don't need more versions of mine. That's for sure. Goodness me. Let's see. Maybe this will get us. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's the show for now. It's all good. I'm getting my team is saying it's all good. This is groundbreaking, right? And so check this. So we're live on Twitch. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and your Instagram right now. Thanks to the
crazy.
Thanks to the joys of technology.
I love it.
It's a brand new thing that's just come out called technology. You might have heard of it.
So this is such a pleasure for me and a real honor to speak to you and just get your perspective on what's going on. And as I reached out to you and I said, I saw that you have had COVID and I'd love to hear your experiences. But mainly art, like you are a legend in South Africa in, let's call it, entertainment industry, and your job mainly has been to unite people. And music has got a magical component that it unites. You can listen to a piece of music on the one corner of the world, and you can listen to the same piece of music on the other corner, and people just connect, even though they might speak different language. It's like a universal language. Yes. And I'd love to get your perspective on how on earth do we unite during this crazy, crazy time when everybody just seems to be splitting.
Yes.
So
there's such division.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you chatting to me, and let's see if we can create some common denominators, because at the moment everybody seems to be arguing with everybody else.
I totally agree, and I think it's absolute bullshit. So I'll tell you, one of the first techniques that I've found is this. I'm sorry to say. I do apologize.
That's great.
I don't expect you to. You're a doctor. You probably have to be professional tomorrow. I don't, ever, sadly. But cheers to you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Cheers.
Cheers to everyone who's logging on. And you, unfortunately, I don't think you can see it, but there's a lot of love coming in from the comment section everywhere else around. Just everyone saying how's it and hello. And all I want is one final confirmation that I think the audio is good. I think it's good. I think I've nailed it, man. This is. But either way, let's do this, and our friends on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. This is the show tonight. Until what we might do, if you've got time and if you're open to it, is once you finish with your little Instagram kind of questionnaire, so to say, I might give you a link and bring you into the regular broadcast as a guest, if that's okay with you as well. Because then
amazing, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going all in. We're going all in tonight.
Bro,
we're going all in tonight.
I've got this much time for you, bro, and beyond.
Lovely. There's another bottle I'm sure in the back.
Yeah. Well, of this, obviously, I'm a working professional. Okay.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You appeal to all sides. That's great. I love it. I love it. So tell me, Art, like, did you have COVID?
I had COVID, yes. Okay, my crew, I know the comments are on my face. Don't worry. My gig, my life these days is not a visual thing anymore. It's always been audio, so I don't care if people are commenting on my face on the stream. So thanks for your concern. I'm good. Back, this is the interview. No more distractions. We're good. The show's good.
No, great, man. All good.
Yeah,
all good.
That's such sweet.
How was your experience of COVID?
Bro, so gnarly, because... Yeah, bro, where do we start? So you also had it, right?
No.
Oh, you haven't had it yet?
I haven't had it yet.
Okay. So mine...
Did you get really sick?
I fortunately didn't. I got very sick. But by comparison to what we've seen and people sadly perishing, I didn't. But I will tell you that, I'm so lucky that I've been able to, I've got a large enough plot in Hout Bay. I managed to build a little place for my mom on my property. And obviously without knowing, as you know, all the safety precautions in place, just by the mere interaction, I brought it home with me and brought it onto mom. So that was definitely the concern. And so the scariest thing out of the whole experience for me was the mom issue, because 77, she's always strong, full of shit, always cucks at me for everything, cucks at everyone else. No, I'm kidding. She's probably watching. Love you, mom. You know where I'm coming from. So that was my scary thing. And what was weird for me is that I had registered to be vaccinated. Okay, so I had registered. So I'm not a if you want to even jump a question, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, okay? I was going to go for it, and I'll tell you even more that I've learned since then, and I'd like to ask your advice since then. So I had it. It was unlike anything I've ever had before. Just to give you a bit of a background history, is that about weirdly like in 2017, 2016, I'm actually not a smoker, believe it or not. Only when I've had like a lot to drink will I go and buy a cigarette. So my lungs shouldn't have been impaired or anything by that very lifestyle, if you could believe it or not, my whole rockstar life. I'm not an actual smoker, like you wouldn't find a cigarette in my car or my lifestyle. But I've had weird little bouts with bronchitis. So in 2017, I think it was, I had 2 bronchitises in 1 year, where for a month, bro, I was more like, I actually didn't know what to do. I was starting my 3rd course of antibiotics. I was checking people. I didn't know what to do. And they were, just as I recovered from the one, the other one hit, and I was like, oh my word, I actually can't believe what's going on here. So that happened then. So I, in my mind, immediately thought, with all these comorbidity concerns that we have around COVID, I was like, oh my god, I'm if I get it, I'm done. It's tickets. My lungs are susceptible. You know, if I get knocked by bronchitis, then COVID is going to kill me. So what I learned, a big thing that I learned about this, and you'll be able to expound on it a lot, is that how much of because it's been so in the mainstream media, we've never had a disease more publicized ever in the history of mankind. Like, more mainstream media, it's all everyone talks about to this day. And I think what happens is after a while it gets into your mind, so that you think, so when you get the test results, you go, oh my god, I've got COVID, I'm gonna die. If that makes sense, like in your mind, because you've heard so much stuff. And so the only way I can describe how I survived or coped with it is that my partner that I was with and so we got our tests together. We were in the car together. It was one of those 15 minutes drive-by, just an antibody test. It was a rapid result, and the nurse came back to me and she was like, within like 2 minutes, yours was like, she even like pointed her finger. She said, you knew you had COVID, didn't you? I was like, what? No, I didn't, and I didn't mean it. If I did, I didn't mean to not tell the world immediately. I did the right thing. After 3 days of symptoms, before going, like, I immediately isolated with those symptoms, and before I even dared to go back to my boat, which is my place of work, I actually felt better that day that I had my test, and I came back, and then she said we're both positive. And so here's my journey with how that went. So immediately in that moment, Eileen and myself were like, okay, so we've got COVID. Now what? Now what do we do? And I believe strongly in this, and I'd love you to tell me how anecdotal this is, or how, whatever it is, what the correct terminology is. But in our minds, and this is where it starts getting a bit weird, in our minds, I, instead of being sentenced to death, I was like, oh, cool. I get a free 2-week holiday, go and watch Netflix in a beautiful castle with dungeon with uncapped fiber. We can chill. We've got the most relaxed environment. I'm so lucky that I don't have financial pressure. I understand these stresses are crazy. Like, I mean, I don't, you know, so these immediate things were not big things in my mind. And I'm convinced to a degree that was the start of my ability to not allow it to get to me. So do you agree how, like in your experience, how you think, I think psychosomatic is the right term. Sorry, I'm not a doctor, bro. I'm speaking to, I'm so intimidated, by the way. But but you know what I'm saying? Like, to a degree, I just believe some people believe it, and then that gives the onset of cardiac fibrillations, and it actually causes them to start freaking. And I think to a degree, obviously I realize that the actual comorbidities are real, and that's the ultimate demise. But I think a positive headset from the word go is possibly what saved me. So I've said too much.
Not at all. Jeez, you're masterful at storytelling. There's no question. But I want to tell you a story.
Okay.
You know, in 1950, which is very relevant to what you were saying, in 1950, this researcher, his name is Lucas Richter, did the most incredible experiment on hope. Listen to this.
Yeah.
He took domesticated rats, and he put the rat in a bucket of water, and he wanted to test how long the rat would survive for. So, and all you could see, the rat is going down to the bottom, exploring the bottom, coming back up, exploring the bottom, coming back up. And all the rats lasted for a maximum of 15 minutes, max, and they drowned. He repeated this experiment exactly with the same domesticated rats, and he put them in the bucket of water, the same bucket of water, and again, coming down to the bottom, going back up. And at that 15-minute mark, when they were about to drown, he picked them up, he dried them off, he made sure that they survived, and once they were okay, he put them back in the water.
Yeah.
He wanted to see how long they'd survive this time. Can you guess how long they survived this time?
A lot longer?
Listen to this.
Okay.
The first set of rats, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The second set of rats, 60 hours.
So there we
Almost
go.
3 days. Almost 3 days.
Wow.
And it blew everybody's mind away. And the reason why is because he gave the rats hope. The moment he took them out, he developed hope because they knew that they were going to be okay.
Yes.
And the moment you know that you're going to be okay, your body just keeps on going and going and going. It doesn't stop. So that is what you described, and knowing that everything is going to be okay is the difference between lasting 15 minutes versus lasting almost 3 days.
Dude,
hope is one of those things that we can control, and we must, and you did that. You did that on an intellectual, cognitive level, and good for you.
Bro, thank you. So that's the greatest example of actual scientific experiments where I did it.
Yeah.
I did it on a whim. I'll tell you something else. First of all, that I learned, which makes me sound intelligent, anecdotal. Okay, so which was stuff that works for you, not yet proved by science. Am I correct? So it's not actual stuff, but what worked for me. So get this, for Mum, which was so cool, and we've spoken about it at length now because she's survived. By the way, everyone, if anyone's worried, she's 100%. And thanks for all the outpouring of love. It was actually quite a profound little moment in my life. So I had this. So I believe in this. There's a vitamin C that I've gotten into. It's delivered. It's a liquid, and it's delivered in a phospholipid, so that it gets absorbed as a fatty acid instead of the usual way that vitamin C gets delivered, where you pee it out immediately. Right? Correct me immediately if I'm wrong, because I often am. But I am so I believe in it so much that I've taken like a teaspoon of it is 1,000 milligrams, which is being absorbed the best way possible in my mind. So I know vitamin C was one of them, and then the vitamin D's, and then sorry to say, but ivermectin. I had it in my fridge. I had it long ago. I was like, it's a dewormer. It's not. That's not going to kill me. I can promise you. The shit I put in my body, the shit people put in their body, that little dewormer is certainly not going to kill me. So I wasn't worried. Again, it's a mindset. Wasn't worried. I don't care about stories I've read of people. Some guy took some ivermectin and he passed away. Like we've all done stuff and ingested stuff and have randomly passed away as well. But so for me, that vitamin C was a massive thing. Like and my mom downed a bottle like this, which is supposed to be per teaspoon. I think it's a half a liter bottle. So per teaspoon is 1,000 milligrams. In 2 weeks, she had finished the bottle, and it's as simple as me. I came up to her and I was just like, "Mom, I really believe in this. I don't know anything." So my mom's a big Christian, huge faith, and I'm like, "You must believe in that faith." That's another thing as well. I'm not, but it's
faith.
But that's for you. Faith is everything. In particular for her, not massively huge in my life yet. Having said that, like my defense mechanisms are all faith based because they're not scientifically proven. So that really worked for me, and that was a massive point. But the other thing is, I just didn't panic. But here's what the trippy part was for me, and I say trippy because I mean it was trippy. It was trippy. So I have dabbled in hallucinogenics in my life, and plant medicines, and I've done. I haven't done ayahuasca or thing, but I've done like San Pedro. I had one journey, and that was absolutely life changing, which is a whole nother podcast. Should you ever desire. But because I had experience of the trippy psycho aspects of it, like I could feel myself going, "Oh, I'm feeling wheezy. This is terrible. I'm it's trippy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's coming next." But I've created my own tools of being able to separate my mind, if you want to call it that, from becoming an observer. So I observe myself freaking out, and then I go, why are you freaking out, and why are you doing all these certain things? And that's kind of one of the tools of getting through a bad trip, if you want to break it down. Do you know what I mean?
And how do you do that? I'm curious. How do you do that?
Practice. It's only a practice. It's not a guarantee. It's a practice. So every time you have more mushrooms than you should, or more anything than you should, one of the tools is to separate yourself from your bad trip that you're in, and you literally just step back and you observe yourself freaking out. But it's a practice, because it's all heady and trippy, but you can. Like, if you step back from it and you go, okay, there you are on the couch freaking out, thinking that the room is full of pink elephants, then in that moment you can actually rationalize with yourself, weirdly. So fortunately, I can tell you what, fortunately, I even said to Eileen, I was like, thank God we've had these odd little dabblings here and there, and by the mere fact that I'm here at 46 as a rock star shows you that it's never been as intense as anyone would ever like to dream, as far as reputation is concerned. So the fact that we have dabbled in it was just a weird thing that I was able to go, okay. But so that was the very big difference. Otherwise, the rest of it was all symptomatic. It was all flu. It was all the normal stuff for me, which I was treating symptomatically, I believe.
I want to tell you that the strategy and the technique to disassociate, to watch yourself as an observer, is very powerful, because what ends up happening as your world is spinning, if you become part of the hurricane, then you lose control. But as you're watching the hurricane from afar, then you don't become a part of it. You can actually observe and even learn lessons, but you're not it.
You see how
you're just watching it. It's like watching a movie of a hurricane as opposed to being a part of it.
Right, 100%. So it's literally, you ask how to do it. It's a practice. I don't know it. I'm not sure that it's going to work every time. I know that it worked this time. I know that it's gotten me through one or two times, at a festival, when I definitely shouldn't have had that last little bit of mushroom, and I'm going, okay, what? So instead of crumbing like most people do and they freak out, I go, okay, so here's a little technique that was taught to me by a darling little person. That's amazing. And I just step back, and weirdly, this COVID thing had that element to me, which made me very suspicious of a lot of things, which can really expand this conversation. I was like, I've never had a flu where it got this trippy before. Do you know what I mean? I've had double bronchitis. I've had pneumonia. I've had all these things, and they've always been bronchial and lung stuff, which is weird. So immediately I should immediately just go, oh guys, thank you so much. Let me do my paperwork. I'm definitely out. If I've seen the fit people falling around me, and me by pretty sedentary lifestyle, relatively nowhere near again as people assume, but by comparison, I'm like, cheers, I'm out. This has got to be it, and yet not, because I had that weird little tool.
But you know what, Art? The thing is that I advise it to my anxious patients, to my depressed patients that go through any mood disorder. Don't become a part of it. Be an observer. Yes. Watch it from afar, because when you're actually watching it from afar, you actually have a lot more control of it. You're not dancing with it. You're just watching this dance happening from afar, which makes you feel a lot more in control. So it's incredible, and you develop that naturally. It's great.
It's weird. I'll tell you. Yeah, it's the fact that it was intuitive. It was just crazy. So I just want to do a quick shout out. There's a guy called Alroy Basson. He is a paramedic from a group called Ronan, who operate out of. He's not only a paramedic. He's ridiculous. He's a ridiculous human. Actually, I did a SWAT course with him, which was, again, another whole podcast of what I did. And what was another weird thing is that I called Alroy on the day that I got the test, and because they've got an ambulance here in Hart Bay, and I was just like, Alroy, bro, so this I've got mom. I'm not, I just want to cover some bases. If shit gets weird, can I call you? And let me tell you, big shout out to Alroy. You're a legend, brother. I love you. And he was like, bro, if shit gets weird, we're going to mobilize the troops. So hold on. Think about that in your mind already again now, as far as arming yourself. So in my mind, I've got all this past experience with how to deal with the psychological part of it. Then I've got my chum, Alroy. He goes, you call me 3 o'clock in the morning and I will have the whole Ronin squad here. We'll have oxygen. This house will be, do you know what I mean? This house will be like a casino. It'll be so full of oxygen. So to have
amazing.
So in that moment,
amazing.
I was just sitting back going, I'm gonna be okay, and I'll go, I'll go one step further. I must say. So I don't have kids. I've got 2 dogs who judge me way more than kids ever would. But like I must say, if we do want to break it down into what's the right word, natural selection and all these kinds of things, there was a part of me going, listen, I've had a very gift life. I've been so grateful. It's been enchanted. I'm so blessed. The fact that you even called me how you did and entitled me in the beginning. So it's such an honor. And and I promise you in my mind, I was like, if this is the thing that takes me down, then cheers, guys. I'm out. I did my very best. I promise you, my intentions were always good. Any fuck ups I made, any mistakes I made, were certainly not intentional. I know that in my heart I've been a good guy, but if this is my time to go, then I'm out. So these were weirdly all the little patches that were attached to me while I was going through it. That I swear saved me, and mom will testify as well. It's weird.
So do you feel that the strength that you got in coping with this and disassociating from the illness, where did you get it from? Was it the upbringing? Was it life experiences? What was it?
Right. So as I shared with you, just in my industry, like the access to dabbling in all sorts of recreational things, and in the psychedelic realm in particular, and especially the new. It's not a craze. It's the fact that it's no longer as taboo as it always was, from marijuana to psilocybin to all these things that are now being not as taboo as they were in the past. And I've had like kind of early access to them. So that's provided a bit of a intuition that I didn't even know that I was doing. But just for me, it was recreational and fun and loving, which is what they can all be, and super healing, by the way, the plant medicine part of it. Which again is another whole podcast altogether, but I guess and it's that, and it's definitely whatever the formative years were with mom. I was an only child with a single parent, so just a combination of all of that. And I go back to that moment when I went, oh shit, this is not a death sentence. I'm like, oh my god, and now I can actually feel good when I tell people I've watched every season of of everything on Netflix, and so when I should have been riding my bicycle or being fit or something. Like in my mind, I was like, oh wow, I get a holiday during COVID. I mean, like, are you kidding me? I've never had a holiday in my life. I mean, music's dead. Like, I don't have any gigs. I've got just enough money to get me through to the next thing. Fortunately, that was huge. I think that's big, because a lot of people, when they get stricken with it, like one of their first things would be, especially people with kids, they're like, oh my god, how am I going to provide? Where do I get money from? And I can immediately see how that can snowball into all sorts of you know what I mean? Like that can cause you to freak out.
So somebody asked, how do they check it out on YouTube? What's your YouTube channel that people can watch this and share this?
Just check out ARDMatthews.com at TV, and I want to ask, because I'm very stoked, and if you don't mind, with your viewers, I'd like to ask you if you want to fill in, because we do get a lot more traction if we can hang this up. This has been a great experiment. I've loved it. But if you'll ask your viewers, and we'll ask your viewers, I'm gonna send you a link to phone into this, and then we're gonna go onto my Facebook thing, just so we can have good audio, because I've got like a weird mic placed under the phone, and it's worked. But I would like to have a chat. Are you cool with that? Can you hang up for 2 seconds?
100%.
Okay,
so
okay.
How are you going to send the link?
Okay, I'm going to send it to you on WhatsApp, and you literally do it on your phone. Are you on your phone now? Obviously, you're on your phone now.
And how does everybody else join?
They go to my Facebook page, Ard Matthews, and it's the Ard Matthews page that's got me with dark glasses on, because I've got two. One's an admin page, and one is a picture of me with dark glasses on. Or they can go to Twitch and just search Ard Matthews, or they can go to YouTube and just search Ard Matthews, and it'll come up. But mainly Facebook. So if you guys want to transfer,
they have to join, because I've got so many questions
I
need to ask you. I need to ask you.
This is kind of work.
Okay, fine. So send me the link.
Okay.
Perfect. So send me the link.
I'm sending it to you right now. Here we go.
If you're watching this, come join us on that side.
It works seamlessly. Watch out. I'm sending it to you now. Tell me that you've got it. You literally only press this little link, and then you're going to come in as a guest on the main show, if that's cool.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye here.
Thanks, Instagrammers. We'll see you later. Love you guys. We'll post it. Cheers. Shot
See you there.
Cheers. See you now. We'll post it. Cheers.
See you there.
All right, well, that was cool. He's very intelligent and super cool. It's so crazy. Like, it's just went on a limb of not knowing who I was going to have the honor of talking to, and it happened to be him. That's super cool. Okay, let's see. Now, does he manage to figure it out? Thank you guys for watching. Sorry that the audio is a bit weird, but I've done the conversion, and I think what we're talking about is quite important. You know, it's this I believe really is the next pandemic. Let's see if he gets it. He should get it soon, because if you'll agree, like, people are freaking out now. Like, now we've dealt through this. We've dealt with loss more than we ever have before, and I think these are important conversations. And plus, I'm talking to a doctor, guys. This is the first time I've ever spoken to a doctor on the show. Hold on, actually, we need some reverb for that. He's a doctor. I'm not. Okay, I need to be able to hear that. Okay, he's gonna get it. I'll call him if he doesn't get it, but he literally just has to click on it, and anyone can click on it. By the way, I'll put the link in to the comments, and then you're welcome to join. That is the nature of this conversation. If you have anything remotely interesting to say. Okay, let me just hold. Bro, another way you can do it is, if you are on a laptop, you can just open a Chrome browser and copy and paste that link into a Chrome browser, and that can be the same. But it works better on the phone, so you should be good and do it as soon as you can. Well, whenever, doesn't matter. It's Wednesday and we're talking about cool stuff. Thanks, brother. I'll see you now. What do I want to show you? Okay, yeah. How do you get out of when you've made the screen the biggest in the world? I agree, Lauren. This subject is so important. I think it's what a cool doctor, right? I totally agree. Isn't he the greatest? Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how to get your browser to stop being so dominant. Do you guys ever suffer from dominant browser syndrome? That's what I'm going through at the moment. Okay, there we go. I managed to get it out. But now I've forgotten what I was looking for. Okay, that's live. That's cool. Oh. Okay, I want to put it into the comment section. Here we go. Guys, you're welcome to call in. I'm telling you, anyone call in. That is the nature of the show. Here is the link. Here he is, the legend. He's in. All right, you're back in. 1 second, I'm going to get you. Hold on, well done. Okay. So,
did we do it?
Yeah, we've done it. We have done it. And now we've got beautiful audio that everyone can hear beautifully. So if you don't mind, let me just get that face of yours in. Ah, look at that. Look at us. I mean, are you joking? Are we on, is this Al Jazeera or BBC at the moment? I mean, what kind of broadcast are we actually on?
That's great. Listen, in the 3 minutes that it took me to log on, you won't believe the kind of...
Sometimes it does happen. It's a weird...
Can you hear me?
It's a weird thing that happens. Say 1, 2. Just talk again.
1, 2.
Oh, shit.
1, 2.
You muted your mic somehow. Accidentally.
Did I mute?
It happens. Try and unmute.
Let me try and mute.
Worst case is you're going to have to call again. I'm sorry, brother. That's our only little problem with this. Try and tap the screen a few more times.
Can you hear me?
But my goodness, if you could see how good this picture looks. This is way better than Instagram. And the numbers have climbed as well, just so you know.
Can you hear me?
Tap on something. I'm going to unmute you and mute you. See if that makes
sense. Can you
hear
me?
No. Come on. We're so close. So
let me disconnect and connect.
I can't hear you. Just log off and log on again. There we go. Whoa. Okay, here we are. Great, there you are. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Is it working?
Can you hear me? Is it working?
You might have to unplug your headphones and plug them in again. Try that. Sorry, buddy, we're so close, and I'm so amped for this chat. Just actually physically unplug your headphones. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so we got comments going on like this. Okay, cool. Guys, not too long and diatribe if possible. Just love. Okay, we can. There we go. This is gonna work. I have faith. This is gonna be it. I know it. I can feel it. Come on, give us a 1-2.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing? No.
What am I not doing right? It's usually my fault when stuff doesn't go well. Okay, give me 1 more second.
Let me try and plug this.
Bro, try unplugging the headphones altogether and talking straight into your phone, and just have your phone volume down a little bit. Oh, I'm so sorry, matey. Now I feel terrible that we did this. But the numbers have climbed. That's great. Okay, thank you guys. Oh. Dude, you are gonna laugh. This was my error. I had my studio monitors turned down the whole time.
Okay, fine. So let me reconnect.
All my friends are going, we can hear you guys the whole time, you idiot, and I'm the musician. That's like literally like you picking up the spoon before you're about to make an incision, and just go, oh my god.
That's funny.
So
can you hear me now?
I can hear you so well. I'm so sorry. What an idiot. I apologize.
No, great. We made it.
Okay, we've done it. The levels are great.
Well done.
But we got to think about, okay, let me just talk to you quickly on a music perspective. Like, think about the world that I've had to live in, like, alone, bro. So I've got my dungeon. I'm so grateful. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for everything. But I've had to delve into the streaming world, bro. Like, this is my business now. I've got this little side podcast. I've had people, I even had, like, little sponsors in the beginning, and I've got potentials lined up, and people are kind of, are into it. I think they're also into it just because they love the randomness of it, which we've just experienced a bunch of. The host and the muser not turning his fucking speakers up. Okay.
Life.
Bro.
Life.
Thank you.
Life.
Because I think that's what people want to see. They are tired of these produced shows. Don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, there's a time and a place for all of it. There's a reason why we watch all these beautifully produced shows, but also people want to see just two people from different fields. Talking about the experience. Okay, thank you for your patience, because you were right.
No, great. No, listen, I've got plenty.
Time. I just hadn't turned you up.
It's great.
Okay.
So tell me, I know your industry, I mean, can we say it's been decimated through COVID? Is that fair to say?
I think decimated is completely...
Is an understatement.
Almost an insult to how badly it's been...
So how do you, I'm really curious, how do you then keep up the faith? How do you, when literally every road is a roadblock, how do you keep up the faith knowing that everything is going to be okay? How do you do that? How does Art Matthews do that?
Okay. Thank you. I like that, and I like that you've personalized it as well. But I'd like to share with everyone a tip that I learned. And I'm sorry, I believe this. This is, I promise you, only my first sip of wine, so this is not drunken chat at all. I believe if everyone truly believes, I'm going to use my reverb. This is why it's so cool. We've always been okay. Think about that, bro. Think about it. I'm sorry, I know we've had crazy tragedies, but at the end of the day, let me do it again. Hold on, because I finally figured out the button. We have always been okay. Does that make sense? Bro, so it's not just Art Matthews, man. Yes, we go through horrible times. We're losing loved ones. We're losing people like at a rate that you can't believe. I understand. It's the passage of where we are as a humanity. But at the end of the day, we're okay. If my house gets taken by the bank, my gift resides in my heart and my mind. I will write songs tomorrow on the side of the road, and I'll... Wait. I will always be okay.
I love it.
That's the answer.
But I believe that.
I believe that.
I
think everyone should, though. I think a lot more people should, is they have actually, even though this is cock times, we're going through some hideous things at the moment. We're going to be okay, bro.
I love that. You know, for those of you who do follow me on Instagram, my tagline is, everything is going to be okay, no option B. And The reason why the no option B is because you do not give yourself an option to fail. It's going to be okay. That's the end of the sentence. Finished.
Correct.
How it's going to be okay, when it's going to be okay, that's none of your business, but you're going to be okay. Period. That's that's powerful.
It's incredibly powerful. How you get there, and all those things are inconsequential. But I'll go one step further just to help people who are battling with it. If you think back historically in 2018 and 2019 when things were going fucking well, we all thought we were going through shit, right? And it was okay. We were always okay. Those few months that we were getting close to not making our bond payments and to losing our cars before the pandemic, for years before the pandemic, when we were in our early teens and early 20s and early any age, it's always been okay. So if you think, like, you can always just throw back historically, we have always been okay. So what's the difference to now? Yes, it's a monstrosity of a pandemic, and yes, it's super hectic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not underplaying anything of it. I've been through it. I nearly lost my mum. If I hadn't have had the tools I had in place, for sure, there were 2 nights I was going, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I literally, I can share with you, bro. Like, I don't know. But I'm one of those few who was surrendered enough also to go, like, maybe people will play What He Means a little bit more the next day and remember me fondly. But, like, I was already surrendered, but I'm going, but ultimately, like we're going to be okay. And then also, there's a bit of a tougher concept to deal with. If we're not, then we're not, and we're not meant to be, which is another kind of weird.
But that's still going to be okay.
It's still going to be okay. I love
still
that.
Going to be okay. It's still going to be okay.
You speak my entire
it's still
language.
Be okay.
You speak my entire language.
Can I add something to that?
Please.
There's another ingredient to having that faith that everything's going to be okay, which people a lot of the time forget. And I use the following analogy. Have you ever heard of what's the ultimate survivor guy?
Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
So listen to this story. Yeah. So I was watching Bear Grylls. He did the show. He was in the desert, and he comes across quicksand, and he says, "Let me show you how to get out of quicksand." And he dunks himself in. He's shoulder deep in this quicksand, and he says the worst thing that you can do in quicksand is sit still and wait. Because what ends up happening is that the sand around you, the mud around you dries up and it becomes impossible to get out.
All right.
He says you have to keep on moving. You have to keep on moving, 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 keep on moving. Get your body horizontal and you leopard crawl out.
Yes.
And it's the most incredible metaphor for life. The moment you sit and wait, it becomes impossible to move. You got to keep on moving. So we know that everything is going to be okay. Yep. We commit to everything is going to be okay, but don't sit and wait, but keep on moving, look for opportunities, knock on doors, try this, try that, never stop. Because the moment you stop, you get stuck. You create monsters in your head, yep, and you stay stuck. You got to keep on moving. Would you agree with that?
Bro, can I not only agree with that, can I share an example of how that happened in this little household, the little Matthews household? So I 100% do agree in that. Momentum is everything, of which I have a lot now with my new lockdown girth, my added lockdown girth, should I say? But so with mom, so there were 2 nights. There were like 2 nights. So she did very well, I must say. She rested, because mom is like, she goes and she gives everyone cuck and she's always getting stuff done. It's very hard for her to be still, which is amazing. I wish I had that gene. She might not be my mom, but I'm just so like there were 2 nights that she had been in bed the whole day, and then she was in bed the whole night, and I was like, okay, that's good. That's part of the recovery. We got to listen to our bodies. And then there was a moment that I just went around to her and I was like, okay, mom, I picked her up by the arm and I said, I've given you these anecdotal things, vitamin C, Jesus Christ, faith, all these things. The fact that we've got Elroy on standby, we are fine. We're going to be good. All these positive affirmations as well, if that makes sense. But there was a moment where I had to really transfer it to her, that it was now up to her to keep her momentum going. And I could see that click. And it clicked, and it was right down. Even Eileen was like, okay, so you haven't showered for 2 days. That's highly unlike the classy lady that you are. I said, you need to walk
Absolutely.
from your bedroom to the shower, and you need to make your own momentum, which was basically my example, just an experience of what you've just said. You
got to keep on moving. You got to keep on moving.
You got to keep
on
moving.
And sometimes you don't even know where the answer might come from.
No.
But it's going to come. It's going to come.
Yes.
The only time that you lose is if you stop.
Yes.
The only time that you lose is if you stop. But if you keep on moving, something somewhere is going to open up. That will be your way out.
I couldn't agree more. And so that moves from a physical sense to a financial sense to just it's a survival 101 tactic, just a life survival. You know, if you think about it, from cavemen, if you don't move, you're gonna get hunted down. You're gonna be eaten by lions
But you know what happens, Art? The people get stuck with two things. One, they get overwhelmed and they freeze. They stop.
Yes.
They stop and they wait for this COVID thing to end, and then I'm going to start my life. And again, if you stop, you get stuck, you die.
Right.
You can't stop. You got to keep on moving. And the second thing that people do is they want to break through on level 1. There's no breakthrough on level 1. The level 1 is level 1. Nobody loses 15 kilograms at the first time at the gym. Nobody gets their dream job when they step into the working world.
Yeah.
Nobody creates a hit song just by creating a hit song. It starts with level 1.
Yeah.
Just start with level 1, and you might not know how it translates to level 2 and level 3, but just start somewhere and keep on moving.
100%. I couldn't agree more, dude. Bro, that's it. So it's these little and I had Chris Burtish on the show. Do you know Chris Burtish? The guy who like an absolute wanker, and because he's my friend, I can tell him he's an absolute nutter. He decided to sup. Do you know what SUPing is? Stand-up paddleboard.
No.
So you get on a surfboard and you sup with a paddle, right? So it's basically just a big surfboard, and you use a paddle to surf, and you can surf on waves, and it's fun. And I've done it a lot. I started in Los Angeles. I do it here, although not as much as I should have as of late. Because it's a great fitness thing. So Chris Burtish, legend, he was on my show last week. Go and check his show out if you have any time. Bro, I'm going to use my reverb button. Hold on, I'm standing by. He supped from here to across the Atlantic. Bro, how mad must you be in your head? Okay, so first of all, that's mad and it's amazing. It's the first time anyone's ever done it. Sorry, it took him 96 days. But what we had an interesting chat about, which goes back to what you're talking about, is these little increments. So obviously he's now in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean by himself on a surfboard, supping to another continent. Just trying to even fathom that in your brain. It's so bad. I hope you get to meet him. He's a dear friend of mine. He's a dear sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's a complete whack job. But I love him to pieces. And the thing is that he's got a heart of gold. He did it all for charity. The amount of money he raised was definitely not self-glorifying. He raised so much money, so I've got all the time in the world for people like that. But we spoke about, I've seen another documentary about that Everest thing, about that there was 2 climbers and they had some horrific accident, as only ever fucking happens in Everest. I mean, that's the worst. If ever you wanted a horror story, that's a great setting. But the guy had fallen from some crazy height and he'd broken every bone in his body, and in his mind, in order to get back to the one base camp that he thought his friend was dead, but in order for him to get back to his base camp, he was crawling, and he broke it down into 10-meter increments.
Lovely.
And he said, if I can
That's my point.
Thank you. I'm so
That's
sorry,
my
bro. I
point.
feel like
I
I
love
really
it.
am waffling, but it's like
No, wonderful.
10 meters. He said, if I can get there, then when I get there, I'm going to decide, bro, he had 2 kilometers to go, like 3 kilometers to go. Can you imagine breaking that down into 10-meter increments with every bone in your body broken, dude?
It's amazing.
So
Sometimes, Art, when you can't actually see the way out, just take the first step.
that's it.
Just take the first step, because something always comes up that gives you an answer, that gives you a way out, that gives you a solution that maybe you didn't see. And the moment you stand still, you can't see opportunities. The moment you stand still, you can't see a way out. The moment you sit still, you get stuck, you
Yes.
go backwards. you go backwards because the sand around you dries up and it makes it impossible to get moving. You got to move forward. Start with step one. You don't have to lose, as I said, 10 kilograms on the first
you don't have to get
visit
to
at the
base
gym.
camp on your first crawl.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Start somewhere. And again, you don't have to know the answer. Just start.
Yeah.
Just start knowing that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And for you know, for people who are in, so I'm in my 40s, like we started long ago, you know, like I would go one step further. Just carry on. Just freaking carry on. And here's a truth that I've kind of gotten to. People freak out so much about the moment and what they should be achieving, what they could have achieved if they hadn't made these XY decisions. But weirdly, where you are right now is actually exactly where the freak you have meant to have been your whole life. And it's such a weird hippie concept to think of, but it's actually the freaking truth. Where we are now, regardless of I'd love to be fitter, I'd love to be 5 kgs, 10 kgs lighter, but this is exactly where I'm meant to be right now because I get to have the gift of talking to you, going through all the beautiful technical things. So it's when people realize that on a grand scale, it's quite a big tool to realize, because if you think about, and obviously you're the professional, but this is only my opinion. My opinion about anxiety is that I believe it's a lie, because by its very nature, it's you trying to control something or change something in the moment that you have no control over tomorrow. Well, in the moment, like you worrying about paying rent at the end of the month, and you anxious as shit right now, but it's the 15th. There's nothing you can do about the end of the month tonight while you're trying to sleep, while you're having full anxiety. So it's a lie. So so one of my mantras, and you said earlier on, like how do you apply it? It's a practice. So you just go, well, this is a lie. There's nothing I can do about it right now. There is nothing I can do right now. I'm trying to fucking sleep. I'm in my robe. I've got my hot water bottle on, and I'm just going through COVID. Do you know what I mean? It's a lie. It's not by its definition, but in as a concept, anxiety is a lie. And I think a powerful tool is that the more that you can just, these mantras, I do kind of believe in them. The more you can, the power of words. I'm sure, to a degree, are aware of the power of it, and you just go, you know what, this is a lie. This doesn't apply to me right now. I'm not going to let it apply to me right now. I'm not going to let it affect me, and I'm going to go to sleep right now, or I'm going to watch TV and I'm going to chill, because there is nothing I can do about it right now. So that's my understanding of anxiety.
I'll give you another example, analogy.
Please.
So I've got 2 kids. I'm also in my 40s. So I've got 2 kids, a 7 and a 9-year-old.
Whoa, and busy boy. Congrats.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Congrats.
So anyway, a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, we went wall climbing. And then he was 5 years old. He started climbing and he said to me, Dad, I'm scared. And I said to him, it's okay to be scared, but you continue taking the next step forward. It's okay to be scared.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with being scared. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear. There's nothing wrong with being worried. There's nothing wrong with feeling the feelings of maybe not being able to pay rent, but you've got to keep on moving forward. That doesn't end the race.
Yes.
The moment, and going back to your point, the moment you believe that fear and you listen to it and you stop because of it, that's when you're done. Thanks for coming. Good night. The moment you have the fear, beautiful, have the anxiety, magic, have the worry, amazing, but you keep on moving forward, you cannot lose. But you got to keep on moving forward.
Bro, I love that. It's such a universal truth, actually, and I think people, especially in this day and age, have just forgotten how to apply it simply. Basically, does it make sense? Because we are so confused, bro. We got so much fake news. We don't know. We don't know our ass. We don't know whether to shit or go blind. But there is so much information at our disposal, and that's our 4th pandemic is misinformation, as you well know, or 5th, or how many pandemics are going on. But these are basic, simple, universal truths that I try and share, that we've always known. We've actually always known, but we've forgotten. We get so caught up in the moment, and this is even outside of COVID. I'm just talking about survival. And it's like, listen, if you're on the streets for a while, you're going to be fine. You're going to find a better part of the street. You know what I mean? I know it's like a crazy, but it applies to everything. Wherever you are in your
That
financial.
we've lost our instinct.
Yes.
You know, if you think about it, babies, when they're learning to walk, they fall. No baby on planet Earth falls and doesn't get back up.
Bro.
It doesn't exist.
Bro.
It doesn't exist.
Bro.
So babies fall, and their natural instinct is I get up.
100%.
And I fall, and I get up. And I fall, and I get up.
Absolutely.
And somewhere, as when we grow up, for some reason, society comes along and says, stop and don't get up anymore, which is insane.
Bro.
Which is insane.
Dude.
We never stop. We always get up and move forward.
Beyond. I
Period.
couldn't agree with you more. I'm just trying to get our now. There we go. Look at us. We swapped left. Now it looks like we're looking at each other. For the longest time, it looked like we were so cockeyed that if we cried, our tears would run behind our back. Okay, sorry, I managed.
Great.
I'm figuring the shit out on the fly, but sorry, we have to interject.
I love it. 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 I want to ask you something.
Okay.
I want to ask you because I'm curious. You
Yes.
are, through your music, you're a master of uniting people, right? That's what you do with your music. You just
Thank you.
unite from people. I mean, that's your special gift to humanity. There's no question.
Thank you.
From your perspective, how on earth can we come together when there's so many sides of the aisle, from people that believe in vaccination to people that don't, people that believe in COVID, people that don't, people that, from so many on the spectrum. How do we come together?
Well, obviously, I don't know the answer, but I have my experience and my opinion only, and it's only my opinion, and everyone's entitled to one. And you know that analogy. I know it's crude. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. Okay, so it's only my experience. How I believe we can is to really just try and take a moment to think where someone's coming from when they giving their opinion so passionately, and not take it offended, because don't forget that offense is a choice. So only you can be offended if someone comes and goes, "Oh, you're an idiot. You can take the vaccine. You're an asshole." In that moment, only you have the choice to go, "Oh shit, this person does not affect me in the slightest," or you go, "Screw you. I know that it's been FDA approved and now everything's fine." Or you can react, or you can go, "Shit, I'm sorry, man. Fuck, can I get you a beer? Can we, let's talk it through?" Or if you even care. So that's kind of like a technique. Is you just go, offense only belongs to you. You cannot be offended. I can't be. I try. Don't get me wrong. I often get triggered. People will say things, and I find myself being reactive. I go, "Oh," and then I'll look back and go, "Oh fuck it, that wasn't worth the reaction at all." But that's kind of a progression towards a bit of enlightenment if we want to kind of get on that path. Like just things to avoid. Like energy draining things, like what do you want to spend your energy on? And I don't want to spend my energy on being reactive and being offended, because I could be offended. We can all be offended from the moment we leave our house or not. And I've chosen actively not to be. I believe I must say I want to share something, and try and remind me to get back to the question that you asked, and I don't think I'll forget. But I believe I'm doing pretty well at road rage as of the last 15 years, because in my mind, when I get into my car, okay, as an analogy, and I'm expecting tanks to be hurtling down the road with fucking all their tanks rocketed, aimed at my car, shooting from the moment I leave my driveway. So anything less than that, for me, is like it's like a dream holiday, driving in paradise. So when a taxi cuts me off multiple times a day, I first of all think, these poor souls trying to get to work on time, and for what money, and how many runs are they trying to make? I'm like, are you joking? I'm going back to this ridiculous dungeon castle life that I live in. I go, "Oh, please, will you go?" I'll get back 2 hours later from where I thought I was going, compared to how many times I get cut off. And it like you have the choice. And even if an ignorant driver completely cuts you off, you go, am I going to allow this to affect me right now? Because that's your choice at all times. And we are so responsive, and as males we are, because the ego journey is one of our greatest challenges on earth ever. So normally you go, "Oh, fuck, yeah, beep, beep," but all the time you feel so safe in your car, and as soon as the big frisso gets out the car, you're like, "No, I'm sorry, but I didn't know that." you know the vibe. We all, for some reason, feel so safe in our cars. But I have chosen consciously, I'm not offended. Like, if I get out and someone hoots behind me for absolutely no reason, it's gotten to the point where it might be getting quite bad. It might become like a medical condition, but that I just, it doesn't even apply to me. It could be bordering on like Alzheimer's or whatever else you could diagnose it as. But it's basically that. And so, to get back to your point, where you're saying, how can we unite I mean, we are so polarized now in our thinking. Right, it's again, just try and realize where this person's coming from. We all have our fears. This is the most sensationalized thing we've ever had in our lives before. So I always tell the story of when I wanted to travel to Middle or North Africa ever in my life before, and they said you have to have this yellow passport that has typhoid, yellow fever, all these things. I was like, hit me up, Docky. What's the earliest? Give me. I'm your biggest prick today. Go. I didn't care. I didn't say show me the peer review of where these studies came from, how many people died when they first made the. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I want to go to Tanzania. Hit me up now. And do you know what I mean? And I think we're in the same situation. The only difference is it's been completely hyped to death. Yes, there are adverse reactions to the vaccine, for sure. Of course, there's mistakes are going to be made. Some people are going to be reacting differently biologically, I'm sure. Yes, it's going to be brought to the forefront more than ever before. And yes, it's going to be sensationalized and it's going to separate us. But man, we have to calm down. At the end of the day, I do trust science over anything else. I trust instinct. You asked me earlier on, like, how did I know these things? It's fucking intuition, man. It's instinct. It really is instinct. Like, I do not believe for life or money that someone is trying to wipe us out and trying to eradicate a third of our population, because I believe we have too many people, don't get me wrong. And I've gone so far as to joke, and I apologize if this is offensive to anyone, but if this is a grandmaster scheme, then fucking well done. You guys have done it sensationally well. Then I will take the vaccine anyway and die in 2 years' time like everyone's freaking out. Then I'll just participate. But what I won't do is stop living my life, stop trusting my instinct, stop trusting science. We've seen the results in the UK. We've seen that, yes, of course there's complications. Yes, and I heard, this might tweak you. I'm actually on a... I know it sounds weird when I'm drinking a glass of wine, but even ship captains are allowed to drink a glass of wine at home when they're rock stars. I mean, that's so taboo. But I'm busy doing my ship captain medical course at the moment. I've got quite an intense day tomorrow. I did my first IV today, bro, in my own arm. On my life, I promise you.
You survived.
Bro, no, it was so fun, bro. Like, these are things that I'm doing because I want to go sailing, which is, again, another whole podcast. Where was I going with that? So the instructor I had today, such a darling, bro. He's been frontline through these oaks, been through shit that, again, it's literally another podcast. Like, the stuff that they've done. And when he said to me today, he gave me great insight today. So we realized that recently, I think Pfizer has been FDA approved, right? Or in the last few days. And then, yes. So for some reason, again, only intuitively and instinctively, for some reason, I've always gravitated towards the Johnson & Johnson. Don't ask me why. I don't have a clue what's in any of these things. But in my soul, I'm going, if I get jabbed and I have the choice, I'd like to have that. Okay, who knows? It's not scientifically backed whatsoever. But what he interestingly told me about, and you'll know a lot more, is that interesting research that's coming out is actually, instead of your backup shot like being the same, is let your backup shot like up to 80 days later be a different vaccine. And he was saying this is new research that came out. This was today's lunch conversation that I was having with this guy who sews up, who puts on arms for a living and is on the front, and he's at Vincent Pilati. He's on the front line COVID. He told me the stories today that like the amount of drips and everyone has on ventilators. I mean, it's nuts. So I'm sitting talking to this guy and going, you're a real dude, bro. You're like you're not. Why are you trying to swindle me, man? You're a humble dude. Like, I can't see, you're so humble. And again, instinct, like, just make good judgment, character judgments. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't met you from a bar of soap. I just, for some reason, I was just like, I can't wait to talk to this guy. People were like, oh, is he a friend of yours? Do you know his history? I was like, I'm sorry. Maybe as a researcher I should have, but I don't. I just know that I just have a feeling that this is going to add value. I know that starts becoming a little bit, a little bit. So that's where I'm at. And I think, so I am pro-vaccine. I think it is definitely the thing to do. And I'm pro-choice. So do whatever the fuck you want as well. What I hate is how marginalized it gets, and that people are now there's going to be anti-vaxxers versus vaxxers, and that you can't come into the club if you've been vaccinated. It's like, what? That is the fucking thickest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like that becomes retardation when you become.
So how do you feel about like government not taking charge and going, well, now you're not allowed to get into restaurants unless you've been vaccinated. You're not allowed to go to music shows or theater unless you've been vaccinated. How do you feel about government now taking the driver's seat and forcing people to stay in and out of these arenas?
I think it's horrendous. I think it's a massive infringement on a human right. But given the day and age and how sensationalized this whole thing has been, I don't blame them, and it's pretty much Orwellian. I think we're heading there anyway. We're going to be a controlled fucking police state at some stage. I really do believe so. Whether it's in our generation or not. I hope never. Obviously, I think it's inevitable that we're going to have these impositions put on us. The same way as I couldn't go to Tanzania 15 years ago and without my yellow passport. So imagine if I'd have waved my little flag then and gone, oh, screw you, Tanzania, you've an infringement right and I can't go and surf your beautiful waves because you've enforced that I have to have this. That was 15 years ago. I don't remember one text. There wasn't one Instagram then that said the typhoid injection and the yellow fever that you can't do. So fuck it. Get the thing. Give me my QR code. Let me scan it. I'm not going to get it falsified. I'm going to show you that I've been vaccinated. It's not. If it does kill me again, it's process elimination. It's survival. Fuck it. I really don't care. But I just think that's the way it's going to go, to be honest. And I know I'm actually probably offending one or two little leftist friends of mine or rightists. I don't even know the difference, to be very honest, between left and right. They're all anything that's so extreme, like I can't stand. Like I can't stand extremism. Which in itself, I guess, is extreme. Sorry.
You know what you raise, Art, that is so valuable. I mean, you were talking about the road rage or how you've been able to kind of calm yourself down. And the reason why you have is because of perspective. Perspective. Yeah. Perspective is incredibly powerful. And that's why we feel so brave in our car. But the moment we get out and a 7-footer comes in, suddenly we're no longer the king of the castle because of perspective.
Exactly where we are. All of a sudden, the window rolls down and this big oak's at your window. You're like, nah.
I was just joking.
Sorry.
I was just kidding.
I was just kidding. Joke, man.
I was just kidding. Yeah.
It's a traditional greeting in my country.
I was just kidding.
Right, sorry. I have to put you on the spot for 2 seconds. I need the lube for 1 second. Go. Okay. Introduce yourself for 2 more seconds or talk to people what you do. I'll be back in 1 second.
Cool. Hello, everybody. Valpray. Not sponsored by them, but I thought this would be more interesting than me introducing myself. Let's see how long the legendary Art Matthews takes how long it takes him to make a wee. They should have a timer here.
Sorry, Matty, I'm back. Okay, hold on 1 second.
So you know what? Somebody asked such a lacquer question, and they said, I was reading through the question while I was waiting for you to finish your pee.
Thank you.
We were timing it.
Fortunately, at my age, it's very quick with thanks to the old prostate.
So funny. Huh? They should have had like a timer, hey? How long it takes Art Matthews to take a pee.
No, I don't want to doctor timing any of my vitals at the moment, please, bro. That'll freak me the freak out.
That's hilarious. So somebody said, are you saying that there's no such thing as anxiety? So I just want to address that because it's actually a very important question. Anxiety is a sensation that your body experiences when you go through a fight or flight. So when the lion is in the room, my body has to produce adrenaline, cortisol, or heart rate needs to go up, blood pressure needs to go up, I need to start sweating. And it's all designed in order to help me survive this crazy lion, in this case, fight or flight. But when But when a chihuahua comes into this room and my body feels exactly the same way, that is what we call unreasonable anxiety. So when it comes to listening to your body, when your anxiety is reasonable, it's there for a particular purpose, you need to listen to your body and act accordingly.
Yeah.
But when your body is lying to you, in other words, it's making you feel things that you shouldn't feel, hence with the chihuahua, then fighting or flighting is the wrong decision, because all you're doing is perpetuating the anxiety. Because what ends up happening is that if I get away, I run away from the chihuahua. I listen to my anxiety and I run away. Now I feel much better, but why is that so bad? Because the next time the chihuahua's in the room, I have to do exactly the same thing. So the trick is to ask yourself whether what your body's doing is reasonable or unreasonable. And if it's reasonable, you act in line with it. And if it's unreasonable, you don't trust it.
But that's very in line with the observing of your state at any time. Do you agree? Like, so you can sit back and going, why the fuck did I freak out about the chihuahua if I actually know the principles of fight or flight, and I understand how our bodies have been gifted with these cortisol and hormonal spikes when we're in true duress or something like that. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm trying to link the lines between actual medical stuff and my intuition. Is like,
Your experiences, sure.
Sit back and observe it and go, why am I freaking out about the chihuahua or the lion? What's the difference? And then you can obviously have a way more analytical approach about it. But some people are so caught up in it, you know.
So don't wing it, dude. Don't wing it. Don't wing your life. You know, the difference between, and I don't want to go on a whole lecture. I don't think it will be interesting for people to hear a whole lecture.
What are you talking about? That's the beautiful thing about this format is we can. I might not log off, dude. This is all about your battery power right now.
I needed to get more comfortable and get a glass of wine as well. You didn't warn me,
bro. Who the freak were you interviewing with? I mean, like that should have been instinctual.
I should have done my research.
That should have been an instinctual thing for you. That should have been intuition. But good, hold it. In solidarity, cheers to you. By the way, bro, how cool is this? Cheers, brother. How cool is this company from Camps Bay? They brew, and you'll get this. This is actually medical grade. They made this bottle from fucking sugarcane, dude. This you put in a compost heap, disappears in 100 days. It's a water bottle.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So you
fucking
check it
amazing.
out and it disappears.
Bro,
biodegradable.
It's biodegradable, bro. Check the cap from cap to wrap, and it's made from sugarcane, bro. Think how sustainable that is, bro. It's sugarcane. You know how easily sugarcane grows. I come from Durban, bro. That stuff grows up in the morning. You can't reverse your car out the driveway. It goes so quickly.
It's amazing.
So
you know, you were saying, so cheers. You know, you were saying,
cheers, bud.
That observer.
Yeah.
In reality, you shouldn't just wing your life. You know what my favorite quote of all time is? If you're not the chess player of your life, you're a pawn in someone else's.
Yes.
If you don't know where you're going, you will always end up where somebody else wants to take you. Period. Yeah. And the trick is, when I'm driving my car and I know I need to go to Cape Town, that's my commitment. If somebody comes along and says, hey, can I have a lift to Durban? The answer is no, because I'm going to Cape Town.
Yeah.
But if I don't know where I'm going, I will give that dude a lift to Durban, and I will give the next one a lift to PE. And before you know it, 20 years later, I was everywhere for everyone else, but not for me. You got to be very conscious of living. You can't just be in the passenger seat hoping to be taken for a ride in the literal sense by anyone. Yeah. You got to be the chess player, not the pawn on the board.
Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of a thorn into this. So I totally agree. You have to have direction, you have to have ambition, you have to have all these things. But then there's also this thing that I've perhaps indulged perhaps slightly more than I should have, but there's also just being in the moment and going, oh shit, I was actually headed to Cape Town, but this person needs a lift to Durban, and the thing that happens in Durban changes your life so freaking radically that you can't believe you ever dreamt of going to Cape Town in the first place. So does that make sense? So definitely have direction.
Yes.
Yeah, so but I think be open to change. Obviously, don't be led around from Durban to fucking Bloem, then fucking nice. Then you're passenger seating as per your example. But I'm saying also have the flexibility to flow and go, look, here we're in COVID. I can't play music, so I have to do weird online things where I don't even know how to get the audio to work from my guests, and I'm the fucking muso. That's also part of just the flow of but the purpose of the whole show means that I've already got intention and ambition and direction.
That's the key. That's the key.
Correct.
That's the key.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you should never change your strategy.
Yeah.
But have a game plan.
Yes.
So I'm going to head to Cape Town for sure.
Yeah.
But if something comes along and I get a puncture or somebody wants to live to Durban, that's okay. I can then commit to going to Durban and then heading to Cape Town. I might actually change my mind again.
Bro, a lot of people
but
battle
it's
with
my decision.
But
it's my decision.
Totally. But you know how many people battle with that, especially super strong-headed, crazy ambitious people that I'm sorry, you're not getting a fucking lift to Durban today, and the person who has the ability to go, damn it, it's a fucking 5 hour, it's a 10-hour diversion, but for some reason my intuition is telling me to go and drop
That's
off
my commitment.
this bottle of vitamin
That's my commitment, dude.
Yeah. So
never sit on the fence though.
Yeah.
Never sit on the fence.
Yeah.
Because sitting on the fence, we create monsters and we get stuck.
Yeah.
So always commit to a position. So I'm going to go to Cape Town.
Yeah.
And if something comes along and I need to go to Durban, okay, I'm going to go to Durban. Then remember, everything is going to be okay.
Yes.
Everything is going to be okay.
Correct.
So I'm going to go to Durban. I'm going to absolutely make the most out of Durban.
Yeah.
And then I'll make a decision the next one. But I will never allow myself to kind of just wait for life to happen.
Or be carried along certainly by someone else. Yeah. I totally get that.
But it's okay. It's okay to go on a journey with someone, Art. It's okay to go on a journey with someone.
Yeah.
But make it your decision.
Yeah.
But never wake up 20 years later and go, what the hell have I been up to for the last 20 years with no direction?
Yeah. Which is a very common trait of stoners. Love you stoners, but that is unfortunately what happens. I'm sorry. I've indulged in all of it. I can honestly tell you whether people will debunk me or try and debunk me or not. Like, if I smoked weed, like I start off semi side of whatever spectrum you can tell me. Like, I already started pretty slow. If I indulged in weed every day, there's no ways I would have made it from the kitchen down to here tonight. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Like make sure
that's a problem, dude. That's a problem because weed makes it okay for you to get stuck.
Yeah, so, bro, I've seen that, and all my stoner mates. Don't get me wrong. I believe. Listen, bro, I'll tell you. I've healed. The property of the power of the weed I've done it. I've had first-hand experience of how powerful it's been in healing prostate cancer of a dear friend of mine. Not healing it, it really helped lower the count, etc. So I believe in the plant itself, and as I do believe in a lot of things, it's just about when you get stuck, as you say. You know, when you get stuck in a rut where you have to wake and bake, I know mates who I see 10 years later and I go, what you're telling me tonight is exactly what you told me 10 years ago in my kitchen that you're going to do tomorrow. You're going to open a dairy farm in the Underberg, and you're here tonight and you're still in your board shorts. And I think there might still be the same board shorts that you've just turned around a few times. Anyway.
But that's the thing, you know, it's like we must understand that every person feels all emotions. We all feel guilt and anger and frustration and anxiety and depression and feeling overwhelmed. It happens. That's life.
Yeah.
That's life. But some emotions, as we discussed, you shouldn't just listen to because they lie to you, right? The anxiety with the chihuahua.
Yeah.
That's when it lies to you.
Yeah.
So, but some emotions are very good, hence the anxiety with the lion.
Yes.
And what weed, and I'm not saying the recreational use, but when you become an addict,
yes,
it takes away those real feelings.
I totally agree.
Real feelings that tell you where the true north is. And you should feel anxious if you don't have direction.
Yeah.
And you should feel guilty if you're not actually waking up early enough to work hard at your craft.
Correct.
And you should feel frustrated because you're not reaching your goal that you should, especially if you have the potential.
Yeah.
But weed takes it away, which makes you feel stuck.
I do agree. I'm not gonna polarize weed because I'll say the same with alcohol. I'll say the same with
absolutely.
With bad mindsets, with all sorts of things.
Any addiction.
Absolutely.
Any addiction takes away feelings.
Correct.
And sometimes it takes away, the not so good feelings, but it takes away the good feelings too.
Yes, correct.
The feelings that tell you where the true north is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
So
bro.
I'll have and that means, I mean, you're quite right. That could be alcohol, that could be weed, that could be,
Bro, it could be
drugs,
anything.
alcohol, carbs, sex, gambling,
It
anything.
could be obsession on fitness. It could be like you can, like any extremes, which is, again, another podcast. Extreme religion, extreme beliefs, extreme anything.
Extreme anything.
For me, is
Takes
a whole.
away feelings.
Yeah.
Takes away feelings.
Well, and
again,
rationale and logic.
For sure. For sure. And it doesn't take
hampers
away
all
just
that.
the bad ones.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? So,
For
like,
sure.
as soon as you get so like obsessed on the one wing and the other, and to be very honest, I don't know the difference between the left. I know they all have their own little categories, which we love as humans. Have to be able to pigeonhole stuff. But I'm saying, as soon as you get too obsessed in the one or the other, which goes back to our conversation about the vaccine, I think everyone should have the right. In a beautiful world, I'd like to go. I'll personally say it because I've survived it. I have a feeling that, given my mindset and a couple of tools and my little thing about vitamin C, I have a feeling that I've got a 99% chance of surviving it anyway without the vaccine, okay? So I'm telling you that. I'm confessing that to you. I'm telling you that I don't think that it's going to bugger. I don't think it's going to kill me any more than COVID will, first of all, which is a big statement. And then second of all, I'm not gonna stop myself from traveling if that's what the world order has decided to do. And I'm certainly not gonna go and fucking pick it to go, oh guys, we can't do this because it's against our fucking human rights. Yes, it is. First of all, by the way, it's disgusting. It's shocking. No one should ever be mandated to do freaking anything. But again, I go back to this thing. Why 15 years ago did we happily show a yellow passport at the Tanzanian border, but we had not one Instagram post about
Perspective, dude.
Perspective, brother. So I'm like, bro, here's my QR code right now. I've had JJ, Pfizer, this thing. I've had all of it. I'm topping up as we speak. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Like I know how strong I am, and if I overdo it, I'm gonna die, and then that's also that's how it is. Do you know what I mean?
It's perspective, dude. Nobody complained when they had to share the yellow passport, as you said, 15 years ago.
Yeah, no one did.
No one did, and nobody cared, and everybody kind of went along with it. But suddenly we're giving the same restrictions. Perspective, suddenly it becomes a big issue, and it's actually really a psychological resource to gain perspective on where you're at, to gain perspective on where we're at, where the moment we kind of live within our lives and don't actually open our eyes and look at things in terms of perspective, that's we lose as well.
Bro, perspective is everything, brother. And it's if you'll agree with me, it's been so, like, how the fuck do we know anymore? Like, if you open your social media from the word go in the morning, I'll tell you another tip and tool as how I chose consciously. Fortunately, weirdly, the way the universe works, my DSTV went down. It's so weird. The only reason I have DSTV is for mum, by the way. But in the main house, it went down. So I had no immediate access. Like, one of my little routines, and I have no routine, which is another thing I'd like to talk about off air. I'm trying to, and John O'Mikey's, God bless him, these fitness people are legends.
It's important.
It is. I know it is. I'm weirdly for my lifestyle, for good or bad, but also it's okay. It's gotten me to where I am. But I want goals. So my goal is routine. I want fitness. I want weight loss. I want all healthy lifestyle. What was I saying to you? The fact that I'm weirdly, universally, I couldn't sit down in my non-routine, whether it be 9 o'clock waking up or 7 o'clock waking up. I couldn't sit down and watch CNN for 10 minutes while I'm making my coffee for the duration that I had COVID. And I can't help but think that it had a massive thing. I had no access to news other than Twitter, which I also seldom go onto. And I know in that moment it's just everyone's fucking opinions. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I think all these little tools really, really help me, bro. Like weirdly, and it's so weird how the universe conspired with me to go, your DSTV is not working. Twitter, is a lie, as do anxiety. Anyway, and if I've developed any good habit in my life, I'm so lucky. I've got a multi-leveled, as castles are developed and made by their very nature. I've got a multi-leveled structure, and I keep my cell phone on the middle level, and then when I go to bed, I have no electronics around me. So it does take me a while. Like, I have like, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm insomniac for any reason or awake for any reason, all I have is a book. And sadly, to confess, books put me to sleep. I wish it was the opposite. I wish I was like you and Gareth Cliff and all the beautiful intellects that I admire, like you cannot believe. I wish I would, absorb them as wonderfully as you guys have. So, but that's been my survival tool as a social media addict, as a stimulant addict, as a all these things addict. That's been my one survival tool. It's like my room upstairs has no digital stuff whatsoever. I don't have a Kindle upstairs, bro. So that's been my survival.
So how do you shut down? How do you shut down?
Like that. So when at 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock, I put my phone on private mode. Did you know that Apple uses, by the way, do you know that there's a setting that if you put it on private mode and you have loved ones, whoever's in your favorites list, let me show you.
Only them can contact
only
you.
then, only they can break through your privacy settings. So when you put it on do not disturb, your child, your whoever, your loved ones can break the ring, and then if the phone rings, then you run the fuck downstairs and answer it because it's someone you care about. So I put it onto immediately my do not disturb mode. I put it downstairs, and that is one of my survival techniques as a person who has the ability to do whatever the fuck he wants at all times, to the point of sometimes not working very well in my favor, if that makes sense,
For sure.
So that's been
For
one
sure.
of my
I want to ask you, what do you trust out there, like in terms of reading information? What do you trust?
Okay, I'm going to have to reverse this on you for 2 seconds. People who are on this show listening to right now, I will tell you the answer, but please will you tell me first? How do you vet your information? Where do you get it from?
Yeah.
Please.
So you know what? I always give these analogies, and because it's a beautiful way to express and explain and give context to what I'm about to say. And my brother's a pilot, and the way they train pilots is they train pilots to never trust their senses when they fly. They train pilots to trust their instruments. And the reason why they train pilots to not trust their senses is because their senses could lie to you, right?
Yes.
Sometimes your body, when you're flying, tells you that you're straight, but actually you're upside down. And sometimes your body tells you you're upside down, but actually you're completely straight.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do with pilots is they actually train them to don't trust this, trust your instruments. Now that's story number one. Story number two, and I'm getting to my point.
Okay, cool.
We as human beings, we need others to calibrate us. We need feedback. We need feedback when we're 1 day old, and we need feedback when we are 101 years old. Feedback is important because it calibrates me. How do I know I'm a good father and a terrible dancer and a great, basketball player and a terrible musician? Feedback. Feedback orients me. It calibrates me and tells me and defines my identity as a person. The mistake that people make is they rely on themselves for feedback. So they try to calibrate themselves, which is awful. That is when you go crazy. The second mistake that people make is they rely on instruments, people that gaslight them. They rely on wrong instruments.
Bro, the gaslighting thing is such a new great word.
Do you know what gaslighting is?
Please define it for me. I heard it the other day and I was blown away. Please remind me and the listeners.
Listen to this.
Yes.
Listen to this. This will blow your mind. You'll never forget. Once you understand where it comes from, you'll never forget. So gaslighting comes from a play with a husband and wife.
Yes.
And the husband turns down the gas and the light starts to dim.
Yes.
And the wife turns to him and goes, "Is it getting darker in here?" And he goes, No, not at all. And he turns down the gas even more.
Yeah.
And it goes even darker.
Oh, I love it.
And she goes, "Are you sure it's not getting darker here?" And he goes, "You're imagining things."
Yeah.
And he makes her go crazy.
I know.
He makes her doubt her own reality. So
how cool is that, guys? Gaslighting explained by the man himself that I heard for the first. I swear I heard that for the first time 2 days ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's sick." I just didn't remember it right now.
So the gaslighting is the worst form of abuse. So imagine a husband and a wife, and the husband's cheating on the wife.
Yeah.
And the wife says to him, "Is everything okay between us?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Absolutely. You're imagining things. You're just insecure."
Yeah.
That's a form
of gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
Right.
So back to my instrument story. A lot of people. No, perfect. I'm glad I could explain.
Yes.
So back to the instrument story. So people rely on instruments, people that gaslight them. You do X and you're fine, and you do X again and you're not fine, and then you go crazy. So you asked me the question, what do I lean on? Where do I get calibrated?
Yes.
I pick one source, sometimes two, that calibrate me. So I lean on certain people that are, in my opinion, are my true north.
Yes.
That will tell me whether I'm doing and following the right thing. I don't pick people that are telling me I'm upside down and then I'm straight, because that gaslights me. I go crazy. So for different areas of my life, I lean on different people that calibrate me. So if I've got a problem with my, I don't know, if I have a headache, I'm going to lean on my doctor to calibrate me. I'm not going to lean on my best friend that's got no knowledge of what it means, because he's going to gaslight me. So you pick your sources and that's it, that calibrate you, because that way you'll know where the true north and what to do.
Bro, I love that. It's
pick your instruments.
Bro, it's down. Okay, so how's that for, weirdly, down to the example of my life today? I'm doing my ship's captain medical. Jesus, it's not a 1 in a millionth of what you've had to research, and yet it's way more than any sailor that I know of. And I take it back, but way more than most people go into before they want to become cruisers, right? Sailing. I have really taken the step that I really want to be as empowered as possible, knowing my ability of storing knowledge, which is it's got all its wonderful little little delicacies, but like the mere fact that I was in front of people today who I'm going, this is my true north. Think about that. This is my experience. These oaks are fucking legends for me. Frontline workers and ambulance people, the people who at hospice took my brother away when he passed away. Those beautiful nurses waiting in the room next door, for me, are the angels on this freaking earth. They are the true north. And if I'm completely wrong, I don't give a fuck. That is my version.
Lovely.
That is it.
That's your commitment.
That is my commitment. That is my true north. So my instructor that I had today, I've had 2 delightful instructors from this whole course. Mind-blowing to me in their own unique ways. But today I was listening to this guy's advice about having your top-ups. So one being Pfizer being FDA approved, and then potentially having a top-up with something else. As he says it, you go, fuck, makes sense. Why not be viral loaded with the R and NDNA and the DNA? I don't know the difference between I don't know the two. But in my mind, I'm going, why not have all of it?
Pick your true north.
Like, I've already survived COVID, so I'm definitely not going to. I'm not going to be affected by whether one is synthetic or not, and especially if one is now FDA approved. And so that is literally, I'm just basically confirming what you've given the greatest example of, is you look to true north people, and weirdly, and yet also not weirdly, because it always happens in these most beautiful moments. I had my true north moment today. I was like, these are legendary frontline people who are putting themselves at risk. This guy's got, sorry Mikey if you are listening right now, and I'm going to call you, but we actually acknowledge it in class, but he's got severe PSTD, right? He really does, and most people aren't. There's not a lot of great therapy available yet, which I would like to talk to you pretty much now after I finish this about that in itself. So Mike, legend guy, but like, he's been frontline trauma in military. Imagine trying to put I put an IV in a beautiful classroom today successfully. All of them. Imagine doing that while fucking gunshots are going on around you. I mean, these oaks are nuts. Like,
it's crazy.
Like what they've done is
another level. It's another level.
Next level.
Another level.
To me, they are, and I told them today to their faces. I said, "You guys are gods amongst men. You are the angels on this earth." I truly believe that. So I had my most recent example of a true north example as to where to get information from. So I guess the question is, how do we all find, like, where do we get our general sense of information wrong? Like, I sent my mom a clip the other day. I'm supposed to be the sailor weatherman. I got some weird thing from some group going that I know there is a call from coming out, but there was something, it was outrageous. I didn't check the source. It even said forwarded many times. And I sent it to mom, and she was like, "Oh, this is fake news." And because I've cucked her out many times, going, "Mom, don't get caught into it, because she gets some weird stuff sent to her, and I try and be her true north as best as possible. Like I try and at least go, well, can you give me a link or a reference or check it out? And she cucked me out like reversely, but like that's how much disinformation there is out there at the moment. So how do we, as the people who are listening and the people who will listen, and by the way, the people who aren't listening live right now, this stays forever, which is what's cool about staying on this platform and your Instagram as well. But this one in particular, this stays in perpetuity, which is why it's quite powerful. So what I will ask the listeners quickly, while I do remember, is can you please share this wherever you can, on any platform you can, as often as you can, because I do believe that these are very important conversations. And to be honest, bro, I would chat with you once a week with an update, and it doesn't have to be this long and indulged. But I genuinely think it's the next big problem, which you've already got a clinic for, which I'm so sorry. I've been so excited to have you as a guest. I haven't even gone into the depths of what you do. But like, fuck, it's a big problem, dude. There's a reason you have a clinic for it. It's because it's a fucking huge problem at the moment.
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
Mental health is a big problem. That's a real pandemic, like people are really suffering because there's no manual on how to deal with COVID and how to deal with the loss of an industry.
Bro.
I mean, what the hell?
Industry is fine. That's fine. Loved ones, man, just falling like this by the wayside. Anxiety, depression, the things that come along with that. Fucking hell, bro. These are things that
No, it's tough. And where's the manual?
A quick shout out to my sponsor, Yamaha. I can touch wood and go, fortunately has not affected me as hectically, and some angel saved mom. So I've been very lucky. But think about the shit that is causing anxiety and depression more than way ever before. A reverse question. How long have you had this clinic and this desire and intention to want to address anxiety and trauma and depression in the first place?
So I've been in practice for 18 years, and anxiety and depression has been here with us forever. Anxiety and trauma has been with. I mean, from the beginning of time. I mean, it's not like a new thing, but the COVID has given people permission to now talk about it, put it out there, and discuss it, because it's become like the cool big brother and then the play yard that people can play with now. Because suddenly to say, I'm anxious, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling a sense of a loss of purpose is a completely appropriate and acceptable, because we're all going through the same freaking wave. So now we can talk about it. Yeah. And now it's like unfortunately people are struggling, because as I was saying, there's no manual for this. How do you deal with anxiety? So you go online and you go type, how to deal with anxiety, and it tells you, well, do a breathing technique, which is, I mean, with respect to them. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem because a breathing technique is really wonderful, but a breathing technique is not going to fix your marriage, and a breathing technique is not going to fix your sense of purpose.
Of course.
And a breathing technique, so if you use it in conjunction with actually fixing the actual problem, and you got to define what it is, that's beautiful. But if you use it as a way to fix the problem, that's quite insane. So depression and anxiety, mental health is a problem.
There surely can't be. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. I am saying it off the cuff. I don't believe there's. I believe in a set of tools that you develop in your life. How old are you? In your 40s, right?
42.
So I believe we in our lives, like it or not, we develop a set of tools. Some of them are not good. Some of them are destructive.
Horrible.
Some of them are horrible habits, but they are still tools nonetheless. But I would like to think that for the most part, right down to the concept that if we boil it down to the fact that we've always been okay, means that we've actually been equipped. We've actually been in a garage that's been ready to do our 100,000 kilometer service all along. And we just haven't found the right size spanner from the 13 to the 12. But we actually have these tools at our access at all times. I don't believe it's any one thing. Is it a defibrillator that's the kickstarts your heart? No, it's not. It's a combination of these things. You have to do an assessment. Do we even need that? Let's start checking out. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, but we have them at our disposal at all times. And
so you know what, Art? The thing is that I do believe that we have the tools for sure.
Yeah.
But we sometimes don't know how to use it.
Mainly don't.
And there's incredible amount of value in speaking to somebody that has been there, done that, a wise person. It doesn't have to be a psychologist. It could be a wise mentor or a wise religious leader or a wise parent or a wise family friend, but somebody that has been there and done that and got the t-shirt that will help you use the tools that you have.
Right.
So
Yeah.
even though we do have the internal tools
Yes.
to manage life, we really do.
We do.
But we don't know how to use it, especially when it comes to things like mental health. I mean, if somebody comes, we don't have the manual. Like somebody comes and says, I'm depressed or I'm anxious, or I'm feeling insecure, or frustrated. It's, you have the tools to deal with it, but do you know how to use the tools?
Correct.
If I give you a whole toolbox filled with spanners and screwdrivers and I say, go fix the car.
That's exactly what I said.
Well, you've got the tools. You've got the tools, but...
where to put it, yeah.
Exactly.
No, exactly.
Exactly.
So I think
it's about leaning on someone for sure.
I think what's very unique about our uniting is our different backgrounds. What you've done. I've come from a rock and roll background. You come from medical, which is insane. Like honestly, I must say, I'm so blown away. You are my first doctor on my podcast. So I'm very, very blown away. And
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
No,
this is incredible for me too.
Thank you. You have no idea.
Amazing.
I've been dying. So I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. So do you know how he started his stuff? He only knew MMA fighters. He only knew people in the UFC. So he only interviewed UFC fighters until he had his one doctor friend, his first breakthrough when he could actually prove to himself. So I'm sorry to my muso mates. I'm not dissing anyone. I love all of them, but I've only had musos on because that's my field. That's what I know. I know musicians, and then I also happen to know crazy surfers, and then John and Marcus, and that's my little version of expansion. But this has been a wonderful validation of what I'm trying to do. And Joe Rogan is, as you know, the biggest podcast by a trillion freaking miles. But he could only interview people who know how to do an armbar. Imagine your first 100 interviews are people who know jiu-jitsu only. Do you know what I mean? So I feel my progression has been pretty quick, considering I already have my first doctor who happens to be talking about something that I'm passionate about in a way that I love the way you're delivering it as well, because it's in a human. We started this saying we're human on a human level, bro. So the fucking show is a mess. We can't get audio. It's my fault. It doesn't. It's human. And I tell you, the feedback that I get from people and comments, they go, "Oh my God, I loved the chaos of it. It was the worst show I've fucking ever seen in my life, but the best content." Do you know what I mean? And this is,
I love it.
And so I think this crossover of our, as you asked me, of our understandings of these issues, which are the new pandemic, I think it's pretty vital, because one of them comes from a beautifully informed aspect, and the other comes from a pretty much fucking street level level. Doesn't make sense. Neither of which is greater than the other, but fucking powerful when I think when combined, because one, I think they're both together, and hopefully you'd see that I'm actually I trust the education and the science so much by the mere fact that I'm on this advanced medical course already. I am so intrigued by it. So it's like I'm not just running around being completely like, life will happen as it happens, and until then I'll just have a stuffed parrot in one eye and give me my chopped off leg. I'm a pirate. I actually am really, really interested in your side of the field, but there's a lot of value into what people have done who have gone through the grinder, and the street valley side of it. And to have recently dealt with something that could have, by all rights, and should have killed me and my 77-year-old mother, who is probably awake right now. And if she could, she'd walk down here and clap me if my doors weren't locked.
You know what, Art? The thing is that this is the first time, obviously, that we're speaking. And one thing that people will love about you is that you're real. What you see is what you get. There's no gamemanship. There's no facade. You present your authentic self, and people relate to that. And testimony to how we come from two different worlds, but we can connect on the human experience. And we can come from two different opinions, but we connect on the human experience. And we can have two different views, and we can connect on the human experience. And there were technical difficulties, but that's part of the human experience.
Right.
And that's okay. That's okay, but we can connect, and we can leave. We can give each other virtual high fives, and we'll speak again, and we'll be mates, and we'll do this, and we'll add as much value as we possibly can.
Exactly, bro. I really stand by the power of what this union has been, because it becomes, for me, in my my ape understanding of it is left brain, right brain kind of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this is cool. People need to hear the science behind it, and then someone who's actually been through it, and is also like, I'm not an extremist, so that I guess it helps or doesn't help any conversation. But
you know what it is? But you're open.
Yes.
But you're open to conversations.
Totally.
You're open to we just talking. It's two human beings talking,
for sure,
trying to come up with solutions through conversations. Remember the step one that I was speaking to earlier?
Yes.
We could never have predicted at the beginning of the show that we would get to this point. Never.
Yes.
We danced it out.
I love it.
But we started at step one. And who knows what this will do to people? Who knows whether this influences just my mother or 10 people, 100 people, who knows?
Bro, if I could show you the comments that are coming up, the people are loving it. And what's cool about it is that this does stay in perpetuity. It does carry on. People can always look back, and I'm of the school that long form chats and podcasts are the way. I think it's the new Netflix and chill. You put it on when you want and listen and switch off whenever the fuck you want. The same as life. Just do what you want when you feel like it. So my new thing in cars, and I'm sorry for my muso mates, but I don't listen to music in cars anymore. Like I will listen to this if it's of interest to me, and if I have road trips, even better, especially if it's been a relatively longer conversation, because then I can pick up some nuggets, hopefully from people that I have made my own decision to trust. You know, I've obviously done my own vetting process to go, well, you know, these are some credible people. There's also some merit to be had to also just go completely fictitious some time ago and just go, fuck, let's listen to complete random people speaking absolute crap, because I believe the more counsel you have, the more you're able to assimilate what applies to you in an intuitive way. And I think people have forgotten that trick, and that is a very big fucking trick, because we actually have always known there's so much info, but just pick little nuggets. Go, oh, well, that video looked cool, but it looked a little bit biased, and now this one looks kiff, and this one looks cool, and apply it to yourself. And at the end of it, like we stated over and over again, wait, reverb button. We're going to be okay. We've always okay, everybody, just take a deep fucking breath, please.
That should be the voiceover at any airport, at every shopping center, just every 45 minutes. Every 45 minutes. Play it again, just assuming like you're at the airport, you're walking. That's great. That's great. You should patent that.
I think so.
Every 45 minutes at every airport, at every shopping center, at every hospital.
Just trust me for 2 fast.
That's great. That's great.
Dude, you are great, bro. You blow my mind, the fact that you are willing to reach out and participate in the way that you have, because I will tell you, the only little reservation that I had, and it's weird because it's our show and I could just go, oh, bro, love you, but like this is getting too heady for me. Good night. But you've been such a brilliant, and this is the cool thing about the show. You're not my guest. We are co-hosts of a chat tonight, and you have completely perpetuated that beautiful freedom of discussion. I really think we've only just scratched the surface of what I think we should be doing. And I hope we can do that again, like soon, because I have a whole conversation that I want to talk to you about treatment of anxiety and depression, which is a little bit left field, but I've got some really cool. I've got some stuff, you know. I've got some links. I got some information to share. Am I right? No, fuck sure I'm not. The only thing I know for sure is that I know nothing. I know nothing. Sorry, you started it, bro. I think his battery died, and it couldn't have been better timing because we kind of have to go. But how the damn cool was Dr. Hanan to have on my show, brother? I'm not gonna have our call back. I think your battery died. I'm gonna log off. I've got a day tomorrow. I've got to resuscitate fake patients and stuff like that. And weirdly, that was just the most perfect timing. Cornsat, miss you. everyone who's tuned in, please share it if you can. Send a star if you care. It doesn't matter. By the way, I do get all the income from that, and it does help me support the career that I have. Thank you to my beautiful team. Lauren and Kerry, you guys are amazing. And how cool was that? I had a doctor on my show tonight, and I'm going to have him back again. You guys, be safe. It's Wednesday. Look after yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Remember that it's going to be okay. Bye.